Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. You know, we are supposed to have a conversation about the UN World Food Programme, but we'll be getting to that shortly. But joining us in the studio right now is a former member, House of Representatives, Commissioner Code of Conduct Bureau, Coordinator, Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Incessant Crude Oil Theft, Agbonayinma. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me, and good morning to our viewers out there.
So we're looking at this NNPC probe. Let's start off with that conversation. You're smiling, and a lot of people start to smile when we say there's a probe going on in NNPC. You don't think it's going to come to anything?
Well, not really. I think what is happening today, I want to applaud and appreciate the National Assembly, especially the Senate President and the Speaker of both chambers, for the role they have taken to unearth, to put to bear, or to bring to bear the corruption. I mean, copy the menace of corruption out of our system. And they have taken the bull by the horn by being able to constitute, establish an ad hoc committee, led by Senator Ned Nwoko, the incessant crude oil theft in our dear nation. If you may recall, on this same channel, around 2016-17, you all gave so much support during the time when I moved the motion regarding the crude oil theft, crude oil that left Nigeria to global destination.
Oh, yes.
That over $70 billion as at then not be accounted for. Over the years, we are still talking about the menace, the in-depth corruption that has eaten us deeply in our dear nation. And if we don't join hands, regardless of your political affiliation, as a patriotic Nigerian, to fight this menace, we want to see that this is a country that will have always be, dodging for is nowhere. Because the problem facing us,
yes,
no one man or woman, Mr. President, Tinubu cannot solve the problem of corruption alone. It's going to require the collective effort of every Nigerian across the board.
Let's go back to when you were the coordinator of that Senate Committee on Incessant Crude Oil Theft. What were some of your findings there? And has there been any movement towards curbing the issue since you were in charge of this committee?
Well, I'm not in charge of the committee. If you're talking about the past when I was in the House of Reps.
Yes, when you were in the House of Reps, yes.
When I was in the House of Reps, the former speaker there, that is Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, and the leadership of the House did a wonderful job. We submitted our report to the Committee of the Whole, was adopted. So our job, responsibility, and within the mandate given to the National Assembly, oversighting, have been accomplished by being able to adopt, going through the report clause by clause, and reports is sent out to the executive as are there. So as of today, the same problems, what I encounter, what I thought maybe by now something probably would have been done, has taken a new dimension. That is the more reason why the Senate President, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, and the leadership decided to say, look, we have to go back and look to investigate from 2011 to 2023 what has happened to our country, our dear nation, where crude oil sales going to global desolation could not be accounted for. Billions of dollars be taken away from the Nigerian people.
What was the meat of that report?
I'm not here to castigate anybody or anyone, but I just believe that Nigerians deserve the best. Nigeria is bleeding.
What was the meat of that report? We don't have to castigate people to tell the truth. We're just telling the truth.
The meat is that, as of today, NNPC declared, is their own declaration of over $123 billion within 4 years, based on the production and with the sales, the expected funds that should be due to the federation account. $123 billion plus. But guess what? CBN confirmation only received $42 billion plus. What happened to $81 billion of Nigerian resources? Those are the bond of contention. That is the reason why the Senate president said, no, enough is enough. That we must look at it. We must go back. Because I say this, NNPC have been taking Nigeria for a ride. Without fear or favor. This is my country. I'm a Nigerian. Other country, Dubai was a desert. The same oil. What are we talking about? The ordinary Ghana, our crude oil is taken to Ghana fraudulently. 41 countries. Our crude oil taken to other country fraudulently.
You know, when we talk about crude oil theft, I want people to be able to understand what we're talking about here. It's not as though someone's used a bucket in the night and went and scooped oil and ran away. That's not how crude oil theft happens. It is a construction. Am I correct?
Collaboration.
It's a construction work. So there has to be collusion in this. Did that report find any form of collusion? And who are these parties that are colluding to? Because I've seen it. It's a pipeline. You have to create a pipeline to steal oil, which means that construction happened. Meanwhile, we have an SCDC that is supposed to be watching our pipelines. We have our Navy that's also supposed to be looking at all of these assets to ensure that these thefts don't happen, which makes us wonder what is really going on. Does your report capture that?
Let me tell you something. How come in our country, our dear nation, in the oil sector, are all of the terminals that the military system is purchased by the IOC, calibrated by them, operated by them, owned by them? What do you expect? You garbage in, you garbage out. That is one of the major problems facing our nation. So the government should take the bull by the horn, not allowing the IOC to be the one to dictate, giving us meters that have been calibrated to suit their own purpose. Because in the 21st century, what are we talking about, Nigerians? That the military is owned, purchased, for God's sake. Does it mean that NNPC, they cannot purchase? As a day, we invited boats. We invited ExxonMobil, Chevron, Shell, Ajip, Total, and all of the above. We invited NNPC. They said they come together, they will nominate the company that should be able to purchase. And who do they nominate? Foreign body, foreign company, to purchase meters for us to meter crude oil taken out from Nigeria. It can only happen in Nigeria. It can't happen elsewhere.
Because I take issue really with past reports, not just in this oil sector, in all sectors, because people, they come up with a group of people come together and you do an investigation, you come up with findings, you put up a report, and then nothing happens afterwards. What happened after your report?
That's the question you ask. You're asking me.
Yes, you were the one that wrote the report. You didn't shout. Did you shout and say, what did you do with my report?
So you have not been watching me all these years. I am still shouting now. the National Assembly did their part. Just like now, I'll be watching what has been trending about the audit report to 2019-2020, about the MDAs, the ministerial, departments and different agencies, that over 103.8 billion naira could not be accounted for by the Public Account Committee, chaired by Honorable Bamidele, who they did an excellent job. But guess what? The Auditor General, in his own wisdom, who went back to make sure everything was brought to the limelight. Constitutionally, he is responsible to audit the Federation public account. And he did his job.
Yes.
Look at the findings now. That 31 MDAs, money went to voicemail, either eaten by a snake or monkey.
This particular report, this particular NNPC report,
yes.
What happened afterwards?
It should be asked, go and ask the government.
They ignored it.
Go ask the government.
But now there's another probe going on right now.
That is the reason the Senate, in their own goodwill, you have to have political will. That is the reason the Senate have taken it again, that enough is enough. And I must appreciate them, because I said I didn't want to talk about this anymore.
How do you know that this report will not go the way yours did?
I'm very convinced. I am convinced that the Senate President and his, his team, the National Assembly, are head-bent. And I also believe, I'm not speaking for Mr. President,
yes,
but I am convinced that Mr. President is ready, willing. Nigerians need to give him the support. Because seeing a crime be committed and refusing to report the scene of that crime to the nearest law enforcement agency, you are as guilty as the man or woman who committed that crime. So we have to support the government. I know when you fight corruption, guess what? Corruption fought back because they have stolen enough resources.
Let's toss to Lagos. I think Ayo has a few questions for you. Go ahead, Ayo.
Well, thank you, Kayla. Honorable, I'm looking at a report now that dates back this conversation to October 2017. Crude reports also carried that report at the time. And the question, even though you spaded it so far, I just want to ask you, are you saying that then and until recently, the National Assembly is complicit in this matter? Is that what you're saying?
The National Assembly is not on trial. The National Assembly is not complicit. The National Assembly have done their occasional mandate, oversighted. And considering the report by the Committee of the Whole at the floor of the House of Reps as at then, I think I have to applaud them what they did as at then. And again, they don't have the authority to just to go and arrest those culprits. It is the responsibility of the executive, the law enforcement. I am, just like they have said now, that calling on EFCC, ICPC, Code of Conduct Bureau, and other anti-corruption agency to swing into action, because we can't continue to speak over and speak again and again without result.
Honorable, I hear you.
There are consequences.
Just 1 second, if you can hear
until
me.
Until there are consequences.
Yes.
And repercussions. Yes. When you steal, people should go to jail.
Yeah, I get that. But the question,
people
this is the reason I'm asking. Honorable, just 1 second. Just 1 second, Honorable.
They are in jail.
Just 1 second, Honorable.
Millions,
if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Just 1 second, Honorable, so that we can make some sense of this.
Go ahead.
You were in the National Assembly. And
correct.
The reason I asked whether or not there was something the National Assembly could do is this. On the one hand, there are two committees, at least two committees, that can address or could have addressed this matter in the Senate and in the House of Representatives. in 2017. At that time, there are at least 2 committees. And then, as you also said, there are anti-corruption committees in the National Assembly at the time. In the 2019 into 2023 session also, we had the same National Assembly, perhaps a different set of people altogether. And so if we had those committees working at the time, and we had both of them in the House of Representatives and in this Senate handling these matters, and from time to time they come to the National Assembly with their reports, they come with their budget defense and all those things, are you saying that there was no way anyone could have asked them questions or deterred them to the point of you now calling? I mean, couldn't the committees on corruption or anti-corruption or on ICPC, EFCC and the rest of them, couldn't they have called these issues out? Calling them out now, some would say, hey, this issue is almost dead.
Let me tell you something. If you go back to America or other part of the world, any crime committed, whether 10 years, 20 years, can be brought and be investigated, and they take action. That is what I'm talking about. Whether it happened 20 years ago, 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, but for the fact that now we are talking about it, that is progressive.
I get that. So I'm saying that we have systems in the country that could have made sure that this didn't go into, as you said, voicemail. We have had at least 2 committees of the National Assembly, in the Senate, in the House of Representatives. We have had committees of anti-corruption in these 2 chambers of the National Assembly. If none of them has done anything about this matter, aren't they also complicit?
I think that is a wrong statement to make. You know why? Their mandate is to oversight all the various MDAs which they have done. Their mandate is to investigate. Their mandate is to consider reports. Their mandate is to conclude and make their report and send to the executive. Their mandate stops right there. Now, beyond that, who is responsible? National Assembly is not on trial in this matter, and I believe they have done just everything that could be done. And what is left now is to allow the law enforcement to take action. Because what I have seen over the time, when even sometimes EFCC arrests people, ICPC arrests people, Code of Conduct arrests people, even police arrest people, you start seeing people spending money because they have stolen, giving it to some media, some journalists, not all of them, but some who have dubious character, to try to blackmail even government. Oh, what has he done? Look at Auditor General of the Federation, who stole over 211 billion naira. Tell me what has happened to him. Look at the committee, public committee, Senate committee by Senator Wadada, who said 210 trillion cannot be accounted for by NNPC. What has happened? So we all have to come together. We all have to come together. This problem, if care is not taken, look, we are sitting on the money stolen, and in every sector in this country. What is wrong with us? This is not the country where I thought when I was born, growing up, that everywhere you go, there's corruption. Then what we do, we blame the center. We blame center. Nobody checkmate state, nobody checkmate local government. Now the National Assembly have done their constitutional duty, their responsibility. We are talking about, are we challenging them? We should applaud them. We should applaud the Auditor General. We should applaud the House Committee of Public Accounts. That committee did an excellent job. We should applaud Senator Wadada. We should applaud them, not to criticize or castigate. When those who are doing well, you encourage them, they will do more. But when they are doing well, and somebody is being paid to come and castigate, sometimes you hear, oh, National Assembly, they are earning so much. They are doing this just to to dent the image of the National Assembly. I am not saying that they are perfect, they are 100% perfect, but they are doing their constitutional, responsibility, and we should encourage them to do more.
I absolutely agree with you.
We need Nigerians to rise up, civil society group, to stand up. Corruption is eating us. just in our own face, and we are blaming Mr. President.
Honorable, I hear you, and I'm glad about something that you mentioned just now. 1 second, if you can hear me, Honorable. I'm glad you mentioned the Committee on Public Accounts. And there's an issue I've always picked with our processes in that regard. You spoke about the Committee of Public Accounts, which job it is to use, or, I don't know, what they do with the Auditor General's report. A good number of times we hear about the Auditor General's report, and we see a lot of indictments. And you are speaking to one of them now. I think it's in this in particular 2017 Auditor General's report that we saw. It was an analysis done by SERAP that more than 2 trillion naira was unaccounted for. Guess when we found this report? I think it was about 2021, 2022 was when this report came out. There have been subsequent Auditor General's reports after that, all with the aim of checking how well we performed as far as the budget was concerned. We're talking about the corruption in the petroleum sector now, but we both know that it's a lot more than that. So in terms of the parameters that checkmate corruption in the country, I'm glad that you're speaking to this with such passion, and I'm sure that a good number of people who think like you agree with you. But in terms of the parameters that checkmate corruption in any way, manner, shape, or form, in any guise, including in the energy sector, do you think they are strong enough? The Auditor General's report doesn't get into any action until maybe about 5 years after. And even after that, all of that deed is done, one is wondering who gets queried. What happens to the people that have been indicted in the Auditor General's report? This issue you are raising has been in the Auditor General's report a good number of times. So, and nothing, it would seem that nothing is done about it. But guess what? The following year, they're still going to get their budget. So, where do we go from here, Honorable?
Yeah, thank you, my brother. You see, there are division of labor. We do have division of labor. Within your mandate given to you constitutionally by law, the Auditor General, for me, I would say he should be applauded for the job, the good job that he did. And if, for instance, if he had said, okay, let me talk to Mr. President, because the president is ready, willing, supporting this result that came out from the Auditor General. Because of the support of Mr. President, that's why you are hearing it. If not, nobody will hear it. So I just want all of us to look at our face, or go to the mirror and look at yourself. What do you stand for? You stand for progress. You stand for good educational system. You stand for good health system. You stand for good transportation system. You stand for good federal roads. You stand for youth empowerment, women empowerment, having those infrastructural development for this nation, where our children who graduated after 4-8 years, they have nothing to show, no employment, no job, because somebody stole the resources that belong to our dear nation. So this blame game, all of us, civil society group, we should rise up. In the 60s, 70s, we built refinery. The same country was able to build refinery for our dear nation. Those refineries today are a state of comatose. They have stolen resources that are supposed to be used to maintain those refineries. Billions of dollars sunk into those refineries. Where are the refineries, for God's sake? When an individual, Dangote, could, a private person, could build a refinery, when government could not build a refinery because of the conduit pipe that they have been bleeding, sucking Nigeria, sucking the blood of our people. It is unfair. It is unfair. We must rise up to fight this menace. Mr. President, Tinubu cannot fight it alone. I cannot. EFCC cannot fight it alone. ICPC cannot fight it alone. Code of Conduct Bureau cannot fight it alone. We, Nigeria, we must rise.
So, Honorable,
Protest.
just one second.
Nigeria is leading.
You said the other time that the National Assembly is not indicted. Just one second, Honorable. You said that the National Assembly is not indicted. You said it is the executive, and you are also saying, just a second, and you are also saying that the president of the day was not, at fault, and that if the president was in support of what was going on, we would not hear about the Auditor General's report. But you are also praising the Auditor General for doing what he does. So, in a normal situation, Honorable, who should use the Auditor General's report? I'm not saying, okay, maybe it's the federal government. No. Which officer, which agency of government should act on, which agency of government should act on the Auditor General's report and bring to account everyone who is indicted in that Auditor General's report? Who in particular, which office? Is it the president's office? Who exactly should do it?
Look, there's what we call intelligence gathering. Wherever you get your intelligence from, whether on newspaper, social media, or wherever, just like what the Auditor General have brought to the table, I believe the law enforcement agency should swing into action, and that is the recommendation of the National Assembly. Calling on EFCC, calling on the police, calling on the ICPC, calling on Code of Conduct Bureau. Every law enforcement agency should swing into action and apprehend those that are involved. They are not above the law. They should face the wrath of the law. They should face the consequences of the law. And again, our judiciary should rise up to expectation. Enough is enough.
See, that's why we're talking about these reports. That's why when you did your report, and we're seeing this probe going on right now, you are.
We have a new government. There's a new regime.
You are
There's a new government.
Not
because it didn't happen before, it doesn't mean that we should stop. Let's see what this government will do.
But the thing is, we hear these shouts, oh, let's rise up, let's do. But you people are the ones who, hold on, you're the ones who do the reports. We need to be able to know who is indicted in what report. It has to be made public to us. That way, we know who to scream at. I don't know if you understand where this point is coming from. Because it does feel like, oh, we've done a report. This is the amount that was stolen. Who stole it? Where is the money? Who took it? Where are we pointing our fingers at? Because it feels like we're screaming at the moon and no one is responding to us.
But don't forget, by law, until you are proven guilty, you are innocent. So whatever we have unearthed, whatever report that is right here, that is the reason why the law enforcement must apprehend them and if found wanting, prosecute them.
Have those names been indicted in your reports and in future reports? Have those names been sent to law enforcement? In your report, the ones that you picked up and said these are the people that are responsible for such and such and such, you're correct, innocent until proven guilty. Were those names submitted to law enforcement?
It is not, hold on, it is not we. It is not the National Assembly to submit to law enforcement agency. It is the National Assembly to write report and send to the executive.
They haven't done that.
Who told you they didn't do that?
I'm asking, have they done that?
In the past, the National Assembly did. That is their constitutional mandate responsibility. They did. So it's not left to the executive to perform their duties. So just like now, the National Assembly is calling on all anti-corruption agency to swing it into action. But let Nigeria also, don't forget, once they start, please support them to succeed. Because the money they have stolen,
what you said, and I think that's where we'll anchor it. I like the fact that you've said it. Okay, so we've done our part. We sent to the executives. The executives' turn, so we know who to start pointing at.
Yeah, that's why I'm happy. I'm confident that Mr. President will do justice and will do the needful, making sure that the law enforcement agency, ACA law enforcement agency, should swing into action. That nobody is above the law.
Mr. Agbonayinma, former member House of Reps, Commissioner Code of Conduct Bureau, Coordinator Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Incessant Crude Oil Theft. Thank you so much.
Yes, I want to appreciate Senator Ned Nwoko.
Yes.
He's the chairman of this Ad Hoc Committee.
Oh, yes.
And all the team, all the members, Senate Committee, I tell you what they are doing. Even the different law enforcement agencies, the military, the Navy, the Army, the police, DSS, all of the above are coming together, synergizing, collaborating
We'll be watching to see how it all unfolds. But
that is what we want to achieve.
Thank you so much for being with us on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you for having me.
And all of your messages, we do see your messages. I think we would work on getting them out for you tomorrow. But I want to thank you all for being with us on the program this morning. Have a great Friday. I know my Abuja people, you like to let your freak flag fly on Fridays. Please be careful, okay? Drive safely. Drive safely. I'm Kayla. I'm going to have a great weekend ahead.
And I'm Ayo Makinde. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.